Saturday on Denver 7 News, calls for urgency continue in Boulder County.
We need a group of people who is not the government, because the government is not going to be the only solution here.
Nearly 2 months after the Marshall Fire tore through entire neighborhoods, one group is learning from Colorado's past to better prepare for the future.
If you can't figure out who the seller is, who's doing the auction, that should raise some questions for you.
Yard signs popping up and raising questions. How an estate sale this weekend could be a scam. And later on, while Valentine's Day might be over, the season of love lasts year-round for one volunteer.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Denver 7 News. I'm Micah Smith. Let's take a quick look outside on your Saturday morning. This is from our Mile High camera. Beautiful start to the day. A little bit chilly outside right now, though. Let's bring in meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo. Lisa, it's going to be overall a mild weekend.
Chilly now, Micah. Next week, it's going to be just downright cold. So I guess enjoy the chilly while you can. It's beautiful, though. Right now, we've got clear skies. We saw a lot of melting yesterday there at City Park, starting to see a little more grass pop through the snow. A lot of people were out yesterday enjoying the sunshine. We'll see even more out at the parks today. Upper 20s this morning, just below freezing in most neighborhoods to kick off our Saturday. But take a look at your dog walking forecast. We're likely going to be at right around 57 degrees between about 3 and 4 o'clock. So it's going to be a warm one. Upper 50s today, just as warm, if not even a little warmer tomorrow. Erie, low 50s, Boulder right around 51. We'll see upper 40s and low 50s in the foothills. So statewide, a pretty nice day. In the mountains, breezy with some sunshine. Coming up, we'll take a look at just, again, how much warmer it gets tomorrow, plus the bitter cold that's going to settle in next week on our Super 7 Day.
Nearly 2 months after the Marshall Fire, neighbors continue their call for a sense of urgency from local leaders. We compared the recovery timelines between the Marshall Fire and the Waldo Fire down in Colorado Springs. And as our Christian Lopez joins us now, residents in Boulder County are asking for the cleanup process to be sped up. Christian.
Yeah, Micah, they are, and they're so inspired by what residents in Colorado Springs did after the Waldo Canyon fire that now they're hoping to do something similar and come together to really help speed up that process. The group Superior Rising has officially filed for nonprofit status, and the group's co-founder Neil Shaw and others meet on a regular basis. The goal is to help speed up that recovery process. Superior Rising is modeling itself after the group Colorado Springs Together, which Denver 7 featured this week. Colorado Springs Together managed to get new homes fully rebuilt in just 11 months after the fire in 2012.
I look at Colorado Springs and their timelines for removing debris after 15 days. We're at day 45. We've only issued 3 permits to homeowners to remove their own debris. That's unacceptable.
Neighbors are going to help neighbors through this thing.
The group's concern is that the recovery process will take so long that some people will not want to rebuild and will actually end up moving elsewhere. Right now, the group is focusing on helping with debris removal and insurance, but eventually they also want to focus on building more fire-resistant homes. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
And that is certainly understandable. Thank you, Christian. We're going to take a 360 in-depth look into the Waldo Canyon fire recovery as it compares to the Marshall Fire in our next half hour. Meantime, Boulder County has extended its deadline for homeowners to take part in its debris removal program. That deadline was originally scheduled for midnight last night. It will now be midnight next Friday. People wanting to sign up for the program will need to complete a right of entry form. Those can be found on Boulder County's website. The Small Business Administration says it's now approved more than $75 million in disaster recovery loans for people impacted by the Marshall Fire. More than $71 million has been approved for homeowners and renters. Another $4 million has been given to businesses and private nonprofits. The SBA says the deadline for applying for physical disaster loans is March 1st. A fundraiser will be held today to help those who lost everything over the past several weeks. Local sheriff's departments and Lucero's Tavern have been gathering essential items like clothing and toiletries for wildfire victims. Those items will be distributed this afternoon from 1 to 5 at Fraternal Order of Police Lodge in Westminster. More fallout for the Douglas County School District, now looking for a new superintendent. Former Superintendent Corey Wise has obtained legal counsel to potentially sue the district. The school board's conservative majority fired Wise 2 weeks ago. Attorneys representing Wise have requested the district preserve all evidence related to his firing. This comes as the school board searches for Wise's replacement. The district will be taking applications through next Friday. A vote on a finalist could happen early next month. It's back to the drawing board as Colorado lawmakers move forward with putting a fence around the state capitol. Lawmakers went on a field trip outside the Capitol Friday to see a mock section of the fence. However, lawmakers did not like the spikes at the top or the Colorado insignia attached to the bars. Both lawmakers and designers say it's vital to protect the Capitol while making sure it remains accessible.
Conversations that we're having right now, we're talking about making sure that we allow the access, that we make people feel welcome here, but yet address the historic character of this property.
Discussions about putting a fence around the Capitol began in the summer of 2020 when protesters caused millions in damage to the building. Yard signs are popping up across Denver, promising an auction with the chance to bid on luxury items. But is it real? The company behind it says so. Those who have attended in the past say otherwise. Denver 7's Patrick Perez works to get to the bottom of this.
These blue signs scattered throughout Denver's Central Park neighborhood offer a rare opportunity, a chance to bid on items from a divorce settlement like a Ferrari, Rolexes, even Picasso paintings. Flyers sent through the mail offer the same promise, a forced auction taking place this Sunday at the Doubletree in Greenwood Village. If you're experiencing deja vu, it's because signs like these have popped up before in Denver and across the country. Here's one from 2019, and just last year in Maryland, a TV station found this flyer with nearly the same verbiage as the ones we found in Central Park. The ones here appear to link back to a company called Heritage Estate Solutions. Its website has no information about its location or who owns it, but it does have some snazzy videos of items supposedly up for auction. Who.is shows it was registered in Virginia in 2019. The only contact information for the company is an email, which we reached out to. We're still waiting for a response. We also called the number on the signs we saw.
I'm with Denver 7 here in Denver, trying to get some information about this auction happening this weekend.
The woman on the other line with the auction department says it's not a scam and that they do have a hotel space booked. An employee at this Doubletree confirms to Denver 7 there is an auction event happening this Sunday. But what items will really be sold there is a mystery.
If you can't figure out who the seller is, who's doing the auction, that should raise some questions for you.
Edith Parrish-Kohler is the owner and president of Colorado Premier Realty and Auction Services. She says most auctioneers won't advertise using yard signs like these.
We've never done that.
And however else they do advertise, they make sure you know exactly who they are and what they're selling.
We are all about identification, brand identification, and having our name visible and readily accessible.
It's on you, she says, to find out if the auction company is legitimate. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
The Colorado Secretary of State says Heritage Estate Solutions is not registered to do business here. Greenwood Village, where the auction is supposed to happen, says it has no record of the company, which means it can't collect any sales tax on their auction sales. This is the scene in Ukraine this morning as people start to evacuate the country. This comes after President Biden announced Russia's intentions to attack the country are clear. Biden did leave the door open for a diplomatic end to the ongoing and escalating crisis, but he did say an attack could happen sooner rather than later.
We have reason to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend to attack Ukraine in the coming week, in the coming days. We believe that they will target Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, a city of 2.8 million innocent people.
Over in eastern Ukraine, Russian-controlled separatists conducting what appears to be a false flag operation in their own territory. A car exploding in their capital as people evacuate. The U.S. has been warning for weeks such an operation could be used as a pretext for Russia to launch an all-out attack on Ukraine. Now, back here at home, next month will mark 1 year since tragedy struck Boulder. 10 innocent lives taken when a gunman opened fire at the Table Mesa King Soopers. Denver 7's CB Cotton got a first-hand look at the opening of a new exhibit honoring those lives and the resiliency of the community.
If you're looking for those who help, this room would be the place to start.
And to be counted as one of those meant the world to me, and I thought,
I want to do this. I want to be part of this.
This is the latest exhibit at the Boulder Museum, debuting Friday evening, entitled Boulder Strong, Still Strong. The exhibit features artifacts that were collected after the Boulder King Super shooting and about 70 portraits of some people who were in some way impacted by the tragedy. Craig Christopher, a victim's advocate, is featured too.
It's a place for healing. It's a place for connecting. It's a place to remember.
The concept for the exhibit began immediately after the shooting.
This is a moment in Boulder's history, and even though we wish it hadn't happened, it's part of our history now.
So Chelsea Pennington Hahn, the curator, made sure to preserve as many mementos as she could.
I was there, almost every day for the 2.5 months after it happened, and there were so many times where it was heavy being out there.
The weight of this work felt heavy for photographer Ross Taylor too, as he captured each portrait.
It is important to remember the individual in this experience, and the portraits enable an opportunity to focus on each person and to hear and to think about their experience.
The Boulder King Super's tragedy left so many feeling broken, but this exhibit will help people mend.
I think it can be therapeutic and healing to be recognized, and I think there's real power in being seen and being heard.
And reminds us that in every circumstance, we can always find those who've helped. Now, the exhibit will run through April 10th. Museum leaders tell us at some point they hope to incorporate a portion of the exhibit into their permanent collection. In Boulder, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
Students at Evergreen High School are celebrating a successful end to Wish Week, a week-long fundraiser for Make-A-Wish Colorado. This year, Evergreen students rallied behind 10-year-old Sloan. She was there Friday afternoon as students tackled an obstacle course during an all-school assembly.
Her favorite TV show is also American Ninja Warrior, so that's what you'll see today, the kids putting on a Ninja Warrior course in honor of her favorite TV show.
Evergreen students had a goal of $7,000. They raised $8,000 for Make-A-Wish Colorado. Students at Chatfield and Overland High Schools also took part in Wish Week. If you're in need of giving your home a refresh, one nonprofit is helping those in need with their paint-a-thon, how you can qualify, plus how hundreds of acres in northern Colorado are going to be protected in the future.